Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Once again, I am with you with another new chapter of class 7, and this time it's a poem, The Song of the Brave, composed by Rabindranath Tagore. So, before moving towards the explanation part, first we will discuss about the poet. Rabindranath Tagore, popularly called Kavi Guru, was born on May 7, 1861. His name is written as Rabindranath Tagore in Indian languages. He was a poet, philosopher, and artist. He wrote many stories, novels, poems, and dramas. He is also very well known for composing music. His writings greatly influenced Bengali culture during the late 19th century and early 20th century. In 1913, he became the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Now, introduction to the poem. The Song of the Brave depicts the journey of a mother and her son. So we can say here in this poem, the poet imagines a journey of a mother and her son. They are traveling through far off lands, we can say they are traveling through the distant areas, and the son is riding on a chestnut horse and the mother is in a palanquin. On the way, when it gets dark, suddenly they are attacked by dacoits. Dacoits can also be called bandits or robbers. So the mother gets scared and asks her son to run away from that place in order to save himself. So it is the dream of every boy to be a hero in the eyes of the world, especially his mother. So what the son did at the moment, what he does, he doesn't want the world to think that he is a weak, delicate or coward. So what he decides at the moment, he decides to be there and fight against the robbers with bravery, and that transforms him into a brave and courageous fellow, and that's the poem is all about. Now, the theme of the poem, the Song of the Brave, has the basic theme of imagination, as the poem is totally based on the imagination event, and or we can say imaginative event, courage and chivalry. Courage and chivalry both are laid down perfectly by the character of the boy, as the boy doesn't want the world to think that he is weak or delicate, that I told you earlier. He wants the world to acknowledge his bravery and valor, right? His courage. So he has a faithful and sincere love for his mother, and proved by his willingness to save her at the cost of his own life. He doesn't care about his own life, but he decides at the moment to save the life of her mother. So that shows his courage. It is this, says the poem, that transforms him into a real hero or a brave. So now here are some word meanings. First we should go through them, and this will surely help us out to get the full explanation of the poem. Palanquin means a traditional cloth-made carriage which bearers or bearers, at least 4, would carry on their shoulders. Bramble means bushes with thin sharp points on its long branches, especially one that produces blackberries. Ha re re re, war cry of dacoits, it's a phrase. Utter disarray, completely unorganized. Helter skelter, go here and there in fear and desperation. Now the few more words. Flickering means light which is faint or keeps dimming. Lathi means sturdy bamboo staff. Hoka means term for endearment for a young boy. Villainous mass means the attacking horde of robbers. Cutlass means a short sword with a curved blade used in the past by pirates. Son means faint. Dada means elder brother. Now, students, we are heading towards the text and explanation part. So it is quite important for you to keep your ears open and listen to it quite carefully and watch the text as well. See the first stanza. Just imagine, mother, that you and I are traveling far. Can't remember why. So the poem begins with the imagination, where the son says to his mother to imagine something. In the first stanza, we can say the boy asked her mother to imagine that they are traveling at distant area. Okay, can't remember why. He cannot able to remember the reason why they are traveling. Then he says, your palanquins rocking to and fro with four bearers going hayya ho. Besides them, I am trotting along on my little red pony, singing a song. So here the son says that her palanquin means his mother's palanquin is moving back and forth, and the bearers who are holding it shouting hayya ho. And by the side of the palanquin, he is also riding along with his little red horse, and he is singing a song. Pony means a small breed of horse. It's a breed of horse that is quite small in size. Now the next stanza. My hoof dust clouds the end of day, thorn bushes bleak in the low sun's rays. It's barren every which way, even the animals have gone away. Imagine it's dark, you can barely see. We have come to the winds of Joradigi. You can see, my hoof dust clouds the end of day, thorn bushes bleak in the low sun's rays. So here we can say, after the whole day ride, okay, the foot of the boy or the horse hoof becomes muddy or dirty. Okay, then he says thorn bushes bleak in low sun's rays, means bushes are also look unattractive, bleak in low sun's rays, means sun's rays are dimming as it is approaching to night. So after that he mentioned it's barren every which way, even the animals have gone away, means it's barren all around, animals are also not there. That means the place becomes totally desolate. Imagine it's dark, you can barely see. We have come to the wilds of Joradigi. So what he says, he asked his mother that they have reached Joradigi, where there is dense darkness and one cannot see easily, one can hardly see. So this is all about the second stanza. Now the third one. We are cutting through the fields of bramble. It's nearly night. The bearers scramble. The path curves out a little ahead. We are going over a dead river bed. In the plodding silence, you suddenly shout, are those lights out there moving about? Then the boy says in the third stanza that they are moving quickly through the bushes fields. Bramble, that refers to the fields of brambles, means fields of bushes. And it is almost night. It's nearly night, means it is almost night. Dark. And bearers scramble, means bearers are moving with difficulty along the little curved path. Okay. Then he also mentions that we are moving through the dead river bed. What is dead river bed? I mentioned here as well, a dried area where river once flowed. It is known as dead river bed. So they are crossing that area together, and in the constant silence you suddenly shout. He says in the plodding silence you suddenly shout. Who shout? The son's mother. the boy's mother, she shouts. In the constant silence, you suddenly shout, "Can you see those moving lights?" Who asked? Yeah, the mother of the boy asked her son, "Can he able to see the moving lights?" In the fourth stanza, just then the cry, "Ha re re re," or "Hare re re." You can hear them charging utter disarray. Bearers running helter-skelter, you pray to heaven for divine shelter. But I tell you calmly, Ma, don't worry. I'm here with you. Now they'll be sorry. So what? He says, just then we hear the cry of the ducats. They were shouting, "Ha re re re." And you can hear them approaching in completely unorganized way. He says, you can hear them charging utter disarray. Means you can hear them approaching towards us completely unorganized way. Bearers running in helter-skelter, and the bearers start moving here and there. You pray to God for our protection, but I tell you calmly not to worry. Okay, because I am here with you, and now they will feel regret for their mischievous act that they are doing. Now in the next stanza, skins gleaming in the flickering light, twirling lathis our way, they come a fearsome sight. I'll wait and stop right there. Be aware, my sword now. Don't you dare. Just one more step, your blood will spray. But they just explode with ha re re re. So here he says, he describes the sight. He says that then we see the cats approaching towards us, and their skin gleams in the faint light. They spin their lathis. You know the word is mentioned here, twirling. Twirling means to spin lathis. Okay, spin quickly. So they spin their lathis quickly. They come away, and it is fearful or dreadful sight for them. Okay, I shout. He says I yell means I shout, wait and stop right there. I want them to be aware. Be aware means, to be alert of my sword, and don't dare to move. Says not don't you dare means don't dare to move. Just one more step, your blood will spray. If you move a bit more, or if you move a bit more step, your blood will sprinkle. But they just explode with ha re re re. But they burst violently, shouting ha re 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 re. Then in the next stanza, that is the sixth one, you tell me all trembling, Khoka, don't go. I say, Ma, just watch. And with a hi-ho, I spur my horse into the villainous mass. Their shields ring out on my cutlass. Such a terrible battle you would soon if I say, so many heads cut off, so many run away. Then you ask me, Mom, not to go there, as all that seems trembling and shaking. I reply you to just watch it with high spirit. I urge my horse then. He says, I spur my horse means urge my horse then to attack on the approaching herd of robbers, or attacking herd of robbers. Their shields, then see that their shields ring out on my cutlass. It means their shields clash on my cutlass, produce a loud sound. It's a terrible battle. It's a terrible battle, And mother, you would faint if I tell you that in the battle so many were killed, or so many heads are cut off and many run away. If I tell you, you will just faint. Now in the 7th stanza, and the end you were weeping, at the end you were weeping, my Koka is dead. Just then I am back, all setty blood red. I call out, Ma, it's over the fight. You come out then and hug me tight. You lift me to our lap with a kiss, Koka dear. What would I have done if you hadn't been here? Then in the 7th stanza at the end, what he says, at the end, mother of the boy is weeping and thinks that Koka is no more, or he is dead. Koka refers to the little boy, the son of hers. So, but suddenly I come back, says the boy says that at the end, mother, you are weeping and think that I am no more. But suddenly I come back having sweat and blood all around my body. And I tell you that battle is over now. And then you come and hug me tight. I call out, Ma, it's over the fight. Means I tell you, Ma, that battle is over now, and you come and then hug me tight. Then mother lift her son in her lap. Then you lift me to your lap with a kiss, Koka dear. Then the mother lifts her son in her lap and shows her love and compassion and kiss him and says that she would be regretful or really in grief if he hadn't been there. Who hadn't been there? Koka hadn't been there. Such useless things happen all the time. Why can't this be true at least one time? In the concluding stanza, the poet gets back to the present time, out of the illusive world. He says that many things happen all the time. Why this story is not going to happen once? If it happens, says then it would be a really fairy tale. Everyone would rave, though Dada would rail. Pa, how can this be? He isn't even that strong. But neighbors would say, lucky Koka went along. So what he says that if these things are going to happen, so if it happens, then it would be a real fairy tale. Means a real story that is thought of as elusive. So everyone would talk wildly, but Dada, means elder brother, would protest. Okay, and father, then he asked her father that how can this be possible? Means the things that he talked about, it is how can this thing be possible? Isn't the story isn't he strong enough? Who is strong enough? That refers to Dada. Isn't he strong enough? But our neighbors would say, lucky boy went along. But the neighbors would say that lucky boy went along. Means the people's voice or the nearby people will say that the lucky boy went along. Okay, so that's all about the poem. It's a totally elusive poem, but it shows the courage and bravery of the son as well. So the rhyme scheme of the poem is AABBCC of each stanza. If you go through. Now coming to the poetic devices of the poem. Imagery. The first poetic device is imagery. It is the use of visually expressive language to portray a scenario. Example, just imagine, mother, that you and I are traveling far, can't remember why. So here the poem begins with imagery. Means that's a visual picture or portraying a scenario. So that's why it's a visual imagery. Now the next one is alliteration. Alliteration, it is a repetition of initial consonant sound. So you can see in the example, bushes bleak. So here the B sound, that is repeating. Now the summary of the poem. The Song of the Brave depicts the journey of a mother and her son that I told you earlier. They are traveling through a foreign lands or distant area. The son is riding on the horse, that is chestnut horse, and mother is in palanquin. On the way, when it gets dark, suddenly they were attacked by dacoits. The mother gets scared and asks her son to run away from that place. But the boy refuses to move from that place, and he fights with bravery against the robbers, and his mother remains in palanquin, afraid to look outside, thinking that her son might have been killed. Some of the dacoits are killed in the fight and rest flee away, means they run away. But the boy then returns and tells her mother that he is still alive, and seeing her son alive, she hugs him. It is the dream for every boy to be a hero in the eyes of the world, especially his mother, and he has done so. So he is quite happy as well. He doesn't want the world to think that he is weak or fragile, or we can say coward. So he wants the world to acknowledge his bravery, that he did so. And he has a faithful and sincere love for his mother, that also shows in the poem, proved by his willingness to sacrifice his own life, or to cast off his own life to save his mother's life. It is this that shares the poem that transforms him into a real hero or a brave fellow. So that's all about the poem summary as well. Now here are some tasks for you. It's a one task for you. Find out the true or false statements in the following. The first statement is the speaker is on palanquin. No, it's wrong. The next one is the little red pony mentioned in this poem is actually a toy. No, it's a real horse, so it is also wrong. The third one is the action is in the poem takes place in the dead of night. Yeah, it's true. The fourth one, Joradigi is where the action takes place. Yeah, near the Joradigi the action takes place, so it is also true. The fifth one, the dacoits are won over peacefully by the speaker. So this one, not peacefully, they had a fierce battle, so it is also false. So you can see here 1, 2 and 5 that are marked as red, they all are false, and 3 and 4 that are marked as black, that are true. So that's all about this poem and its explanation. Students, if you have any query, you can put it in the comment section and I'll be happy to receive your queries. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Share it with your friends as well, those who belong to your class. And till then, bye bye, take care, goodbye. Thank you.